Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in ABRA's roll call hearings via the WebEx platform provided by the DC Office of Open Government. My name is Laverne Fletcher. I'll be conducting the roll call hearings as the board's agent. There are two cases on the calendar today. The first case is Play DC Restaurant and Lounge. This is case number 23PRO00031. Play DC Restaurant and Lounge, 1541 7th Street Northwest, license number ABRA 112274. This is a retailer Class CT license renewal. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet, residential parking, and vehicular and pedestrian safety. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of the applicant?
I am representing the group letter. My name is Layla Sadawi, and I am located at 636 Q Street Northwest.
Ms. Sadawi, I'm asking if anyone's present on behalf of the establishment.
I apologize.
No problem, thank you. Mr. Klein, you're on mute. I see you though.
Yes, Andrew Klein on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you. Mr. Klein, would you spell your name for the record?
Sure, Andrew, last name Klein, Kline.
Thank you very much. We also have 5 protestants, so I'm hearing an echo. I'm not sure why, but can everyone hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Is Michael Moret or Carlos Reyes here?
This is Carlos Reyes, yes.
Oh, Mr. Reyes, would you please spell your name for the record?
Sure. CARLOS REYES.
And Mr. Reyes, just for the record, the owner is Michael Moret. He's out of the country, but you're a tenant at this location, yes?
Correct, but I think Michael is also on the call.
Oh, okay.
Hi there. This is
Hi.
Michael Moret.
Mr. Moret, if you would spell your name, please.
Yes, MichaelMarette.
Thank you very much. And you filed the protest as an abutting property owner?
Correct.
And so I have your address. Is it correct that you live in unit number 3?
Yes, Carlos lives there currently. I'm the owner.
So the question that I have in terms of whether or not you're abutting according to ABRA's definition of an abutting property owner is whether or not the properties actually share a common wall. Do they abut any place at all?
So our back parking pad area, for lack of a better explanation, abuts a portion of the back part of the Play DC property.
And so I noticed in your protest letter, you mentioned that the primary bedroom in unit 3, you said that it sits about 15 to 20 yards from the back door.
Correct.
Well.
That's actually true for all of the primary bedrooms in the 4 units that make up the 636 Q Street Condo Association. All 4 of the primary bedrooms in those 4 units all sit kind of stacked on top of each other and are in direct line of sight, and my estimate would be about 15 yards. Leila or Carlos, correct me if you think otherwise, but from the back door of the Play DC establishment.
Correct.
Okay, and who just said correct?
That's me. My name is...
Yeah, you can go ahead and anytime you speak, if you could just say who's speaking. Ms. Setaway, you mentioned your name and spelled it a moment ago. So we already have a record of that on the record. So that was Ms. Setaway speaking.
Correct. That is me.
Thank you.
And I want to affirm what Michael said.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Moret, what has to happen in this case today? I, as the board's agent, will not be able to grant standing as an abutting property owner because unless the properties actually touch in some way, I cannot grant standing as an abutting property owner, and so I'll have to dismiss the protest. However, you may make a case for why you should be abutting to the ABC board. And
Might
they
I
can,
Go ahead, Leila, sorry.
This is Layla talking. Might I follow up with a question?
yes,
Our property lines do touch. Our property lines are now might not be our building, but
Mhm.
as Michael said, our garage pad is, I think it shares about, if I were to, I mean, I could go look outside right now, but I would say about maybe 20 feet it shares with
Yeah.
Play DC's property. Yeah.
exactly. And so I believe that's correct, just so that you know. It's just that for the purpose of the roll call, I only can look at whether or not the property's actually attached. I know what you're saying already. When you receive you're gonna receive a dismissal order from the board because the properties don't touch. In your response, provide that additional information, the information that you just gave to me, and let the ABC board review that.
Okay, so just to be crystal clear about, so we understand. So when from the board's perspective or the court's perspective, the definition of abutting has to be the physical structure touching the other structure.
Yeah, that's generally the way the board has looked at abutting properties, but provide that additional information. You seem to have additional information that the property touches in another way,
Right. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so the board's agent can't make that determination, but the board can,
Okay.
is what I mean. So I'm just letting you know, assuming that you would ask the board to reinstate you as a protester, and you would provide the additional information that you just provided today.
Okay. And we would do that, I guess, immediately following this.
Yeah, you know what'll happen? You'll receive a board order dismissing this protest for the reason that I just said, because the properties don't abut. You'll have 10 days to ask the board to reinstate your protest for the reasons that you just stated. You believe
Okay.
that you're abutting because your property lines actually touch.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So
so
our
the board
property
can-
lines do abut, but the physical structures do not touch.
Exactly. And so you would say that, but that the property lines do touch. And let the board make a decision about that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The next protestant I have here is Mr. Bunch. Are you present today?
Yes, ma'am. Doug Bunch. Bunch. First name Doug, Doug.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bunch, you also filed your protest as an abutting property owner. And so I have your address here. So I'm going to ask you whether or not your properties actually touch. In your protest, you mentioned that your backyard abuts the rear of the establishment.
That's correct.
And so, so your backyard abuts, but the buildings don't touch.
That's correct.
So for that reason, I'm going to have to dismiss the protest because the buildings don't touch. But as I said in the previous case, once you receive a board order dismissing the protest, if you believe that your property abuts at a property line beyond the buildings touching, you can bring that to the board's decision and they can overturn this decision today if you want to provide that additional information.
I understood. And similar to the last protestant, the property lines do clearly touch.
Okay. Well, and so then you can present that to the board and they can rule on that.
Understood.
The next protestant I have is ANC 2G. Is anyone present on behalf of ANC 2G?
Yes, Alex Lopez, ALEX, Lopez, Commissioner, ANC Commissioner for 2G03 is present.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lopez. ANC 2G does have standing as a protestant. Is there an Ivan, let's see, Ivan Rikkonen? Rikkonen, is that correct pronunciation? Ivan Rikkonen.
I believe it's IV. I don't see him on the call. He's the owner of ABRA at 7th and Q Northwest.
And so I'll just note this for the record. He actually, Ivan submitted a letter. It didn't appear to be a protest letter. It appeared to be a letter just expressing his concerns. In his letter, he stated that he was a business owner. Business owners don't have standing to file a protest, but he didn't say he was filing one. He also said that he was a concerned citizen. And so because he submitted that letter, I'll just note for the record, I'm not dismissing Ivan because I don't recognize him as a protestant. He didn't say he was one. I'm not recognizing him as one. And so I'm not going to dismiss him as a protestant, but will include his letter as a concerned citizen in the file. The next protestant is a group of 12. So Ms. Sitaway,
Yes,
you're the designated representative for this group.
correct.
Is anyone else here from your group today?
I am Michael Kaplan.
Mr. Kaplan, would you spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's MichaelKaplan.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Also, Allison Walter, ALLISONWALTER.
Thank you.
As well, Mara McCarthy, MAURA, last name MCCARTHY.
Great, thank you. Anybody else?
Nabil Falou, NABIL.
So you came through a little rocky. I'm gonna spell it again. You can let me know if it's correct. Nabil is the first name.
Correct.
And the last name is F like Frank, ALLOUH.
You got it right.
Thank you. That's for the court reporter. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. I count 5 individuals present from the group today, which means that the group of 12 is granted full standing as a protestant, which means Ms. Sitaway, that at the upcoming status hearing, only you will need to appear because the group has already been granted standing. It's a public hearing, anybody can come, but only you need to appear because you've met the requisite number of 5 appearing in person. The other thing I'd like to say about the protest letter that was filed, the protest letter mentioned that the protest was also being filed on behalf of a condominium association. It mentioned the condo association and a group of 5 or more. I just want to note for the record, give me 1 second here. Just what I'm looking for, I'll have it in a moment, is the name of the Association. It was mentioned in the protest letter. Ms. Sitaway, I don't know if you're aware or not that this protest was also filed by the by your condo association. I'll tell you the name of it in a moment. Were you aware of that though?
This is not ringing a bell, but it's possible. I just don't understand the process to its full extent, as this is my first time going through it.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. So the protest letter was filed on behalf of a condo association and a group of 5 or more, which includes your group. But you have a condo association, right?
We do. We're the 4 units that Michael Moret mentioned earlier that are stacked on top of each other. So perhaps when I was submitting the protest letter, is that the condo association you're referring to? If so, that's 636 Q Street. I'm not sure if there's another association that has also submitted a protest letter though.
That's the only one.
Okay.
That is the only one. I'll find it in a minute. But anyway, the condo association is dismissed as a protestant, but I want to give you the name of the condo association. What's the name of your condo association? Ms. Sitaway?
I believe it's 636 Q Street Northwest. Yep, Michael is nodding his head. So 636 Q Street Northwest. But again, I don't recall submitting on behalf of the condo association.
Yeah, it wasn't you. So what happened? So there are 2 things that happened in your protest letter. You and your group signed. I have all of your signatures. But the protest also mentioned a condo association. That's okay. It's not a problem. I have it.
Okay.
Because condo associations don't have standing as protestants.
Understood.
The document must have gotten mixed up with something else. Just give me 1 minute.
I think in Carlos, in my letter, we would have mentioned, I'd have to go back and look, but we mentioned 636 Condo Street Association. That might be what this is a reference to.
I'm looking at the document right now. Let's see here. Okay, Ms. Sitaway.
Yes.
The thing that I want to mention about your protest letter, just FYI, is that there were more than 12 names on the protest letter, but there were only signatures of 12 people, just so that you know. So that's why I'm granting standing to 12 people. It's fine.
Just to share the context, we were under the impression that writing names was sufficient, and then we found out I think it was just like an hour or 2 before that actual signatures were needed. So it was quite a scramble to get those 12. But had I had more time, we could have gotten signatures from everyone. I just didn't understand the initial ask.
Well, you only ever needed 5, so you're good.
Great.
Okay, and so your group is granted standing as a protestant. Please disregard what I said about the condominium association. What I said actually doesn't apply to you.
Okay.
It doesn't apply to you. Your group is the one that had the signatures, the names where there were no signatures, so we've cleared that up. So what we have here is standing granted also to a group of 12. I'll just summarize. Michael Moret and Douglas Bunch filed their protests as abutting property owners. Those two protests were dismissed for the reasons that I stated, basically because the properties do not touch. And ANC2G is granted standing as a protestant. Ivan Arikinen, I'm going to spell that. I forgot to spell that for the record. The first name is spelled Ivan. The last name is spelled Iricanin. Mr. Irikinen was not recognized as a protestant because he filed as a concerned citizen, so there was no dismissal of his protest. And Ms. Sitaway, your group of 12 has standing as a protestant. We need to set a date for mediation, a status hearing, and a protest hearing. I'll give you the dates for the status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for April the 26th. That's April 26th at 10:30 a.m. for the status hearing.
All right, April 26th at 10:30 a.m.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And is that, is there an end time on that?
There's no end time on that. Status hearings last maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you for that context. Great.
I'm sorry, to confirm, April 26th is a Sunday?
That's Ms. Moret speaking. Yes, is April, did you say is it on a Sunday?
I see Wednesday, Mike. Maybe March 26th is a Sunday?
Sorry, ignore me. Yep.
Okay, well then it's April 26th at 10:30 a.m. and the protest hearing is set for May 24, 2023 at 10:30 a.m.
I'm going to ask the same question. Is there an end time on the protest hearing, or is it also about 5 to 10 minutes?
Well, the protest hearing could last anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. That's the actual hearing.
Okay.
So that could last anywhere from an hour and a half to 3. That's, you don't really know when that's going to end, but gives you a good idea.
Ms. Fletcher,
Is that the one that this is Layla speaking, is that the one that I'm expected to attend because I will be on a flight at that time?
So Ms. Sitaway, the one I was referring to was the status hearing. There's an upcoming status hearing where you'll need to report to the board the status of this case, because in a minute, I'm going to give you a date for mediation. And when you appear for the status hearing, you'll inform the board regarding the status of the case at that time. If there was mediation, if it was settled, if not, if settlement is pending. That's the hearing I was referring to where only you need to show up. The protest hearing is where the parties appear for a hearing if the matter is not resolved in mediation. And if you're going to be did you say out of the country?
I am present for the status hearing. I will be there April 26th, no problem. The protest hearing on May 24th, I cannot attend as I will be on a plane flight at that exact time.
Well, maybe you can designate a different representative, but we can deal with that at the time. I mean, you always have the right to petition the board to change the date of a hearing, but you would have to, if you're going to make that request, copy that request to the establishment's attorney, and Mr. Klein is here.
Ms. Fletcher, this is Alex Lopez from ANC2G. I also will not be able to do May the 24th for the protest hearing. Would it be possible to schedule for a different date?
And so what you'll do, Mr. Lopez, you'll petition the ABC board to change the date of the protest hearing with a copy of that to Andrew Klein, the applicant's attorney, and request a new date.
Okay, understood.
And that would go to Martha Jenkins. Mr. Lopez, do you have Martha Jenkins' email?
I do.
Ms. Sitaway, Martha Jenkins is the general counsel. She's the person that petition would go to. So you could file a joint petition. Is that what you would do, Mr. Lopez, with Ms. Sitaway's group?
Yeah, we'd be happy to work with Ms. Sidaway to file a joint petition.
And then copy Andrew Klein?
Absolutely, and send that to Martha Jenkins.
Yes. And so.
Want to make life easier, just reach out to me and we can probably do it by consent, where you don't have to file a motion.
Great.
That's
Thank you,
Okay,
Okay,
Mr.
and I'll make a
Klein.
note that that's gonna happen. Let me do that.
Mr. Klein, do we have your email address? Alex, do you have his email?
I'll post it if, in the chat in case you don't have it.
Thank you.
Yep.
I will give you the next available day for mediation. The next available day is, excuse me 1 second here. It's Tuesday, April the 11th. Anytime between 10 and 1:30.
I have a conflict.
What about April the 10th? That's a Monday at 1:30.
That works for me.
My question again would be, do you know about approximately the end time of that? So I can confirm if I can attend on Monday, April 10 at 1:30?
Mediations last anywhere from 1 to 3 hours, depending on the situation.
Okay. And that's I
And
should.
if you have a limitation, you can say so at the beginning and
Okay.
we'll work with that.
Okay. Monday, April 10 for the mediation, and we agreed, apologies on the timing. We said 1:30?
1:30. Is that okay with
Yes.
the ANC also?
Yes, I can make that work.
So mediation is set for Monday, April 10 at 1:30, and I'll send you the WebEx invitation to attend the mediation. Mr. Moret and Mr. Bunch, if the board reinstates your protest, that's the date for the mediation.
Understood.
And you can, I don't know if you have my email address or not. I don't think you do. Let me give it to you.
We do. We
You
have
do?
it.
Okay, good. If the board reinstates your protest, I'll know it, but when you become aware of it, let me know it as well, so that I can send you the WebEx invitation to attend the mediation on April 10.
Okay, thank you.
And so,
I
go ahead,
can't.
Mr. Moret.
I'm sorry, yeah, this is Michael Moret. I can't make it at that time. Thank you though, but Carlos says he will be able to attend.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
And Ms. Fletcher, just to confirm, it is because I am representing the group, I do not need the rest of the group present for either the mediation or the status hearing. I can let them go from this point forward in terms of meeting attendance.
That's right.
Great. Well,
That's
thank
right,
you
Ms.
all
Sidaway.
very much to the group. I just want to say my thanks for hopping on today.
And Ms. Sidaway, just for the record, I'm just saying who's speaking. We're getting a little static now. I'm not sure why, but I think we're all okay now because this hearing is over unless anybody has any questions. Well, thank you for coming. I'll see you on April the 10th at 1:30.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The roll call hearing in the matter of Play DC
Thank
is
you.
concluded. You're welcome. The next case on the calendar is Rosebud Liquor. This is case number 23PRO00032. Rosebud Liquor, Inc., 1700 17th Street Northwest, license number ABRA 060751. This is a retailer Class A liquor store transfer from 1711 17th Street Northwest to 1700 17th Street Northwest. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of Rosebud Liquor?
Yes, the owner, Martha Mendoza, is here, and her daughter, Cindy, translates.
Okay, did you say Marta Mendoza?
Yes.
Would you spell that for the record, please?
Marta, M-A-R-T-A, Mendoza, M-E-D-O-A.
And your name again?
My name is Cindy, first name C-I-N-D-Y, and last name Maza, M-A-Z-A.
Okay, thank you, Amata. So let me ask you something. Will a Spanish interpreter be necessary for this case going forward?
I'm gonna be helping her. That's
So you're gonna be assisting throughout the process. It's not necessary for us to schedule a Spanish interpreter?
¿Quieres que te pongan un traductor? ¿Me puedes? Pero para el futuro. Para el futuro, sí. You can schedule for her, yes.
Okay.
Additionally, Ms. Fletcher, hello, my name is Commissioner Vincent Slatt from 2B03, and I have served as a translator for Ms. Mendoza when these issues have appeared before the ANC Commission. And so I'm attending today in that capacity to also assist if there are Spanish language needs available at the time.
Thank you. There's also a group of 17. Is anyone present on behalf of that group? Ms. Carbell?
Is Carolyn Carbell, C-A-R-O-L-Y-N, A-A-R-B.
Thank you, Ms. Carbell. Just a second, please. Ms. Carbell, are there any others present from your group today?
Yes.
You could state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Sure, I'll go first. My name is Sheena Popat, S-H-E-N-A, last name P-O-P-A-T.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes. Michael Villa. Last name spelled V as in Victor, I-L-L-A.
V-I-L-L-A?
V as in Victor, I-L-L-A. Villa.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm also here. Melissa Terzis, M-E-L-I-S-S-A. And Terzis is T like Tom, E-R-Z like zebra, I-S like Sam.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Brooke, B-R-O-O-K-E. Last name Holmes, H-O-L-M-E-S. I'm here to support the board representative of our condominium association at 17.
Mr. Holmes, are you a protestant? Did you sign the protest letter as well?
Yes, I did, in support of the board's position.
Yeah, but are you a part of the group of 17?
Yes.
Let me see. Yeah, I see where you signed the protest letter also. Thank you. Anyone else?
I do want to note that we have Kara Lanza on. She said she's on the call, but I don't know what's happening on her end because she said she can't hear anything. But she said she is on the call.
I can see that she's there. I'll spell her name
Okay.
for the record. Her name is Kara Lanza. Her name is spelled CARALANZ like zebra A.
Correct.
Thank you. And she did sign the protest letter.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
anybody else present?
Hi, I'd like to sign the protest letter. I just signed on, sorry.
You said you did sign the protest letter?
I didn't, but I meant to. Can I right now?
Oh, Ms. O'Connor, you would have had to have signed the protest letter before today.
Okay, well, I'm
But
there
it's-
to hear it.
But it's okay that you're here. You're in support of the protest, but so you can stay on the line. This is a public hearing.
Okay, sounds good.
You can go ahead and spell your name since you spoke though. Jamie O'Connor.
Yes, ma'am.
You can spell it.
Oh, Jaime. And my last name is O''Connor.
Okay, so Ms. O'Connor, you're in support of the protest. You're not a protestant, but you're in support of the protest. So you can just stay on the line if you like.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? There are 6 people from the group present today. The group of 17 has standing as a protestant. Ms. Carbell? Ms. Carbell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ms. Carbell, what that means is that at the upcoming status hearing, only you will need to appear for that hearing because the group has already been granted standing as a protestant. And I'm going to give you a date for a mediation in a moment, and only you need to appear for the mediation as well. Only the designated representatives need to appear for mediation and the status hearing.
And if what I heard from previous is if that needs to change, we are able to do that, correct?
So Ms. Carbell, I don't know why I can't hear you very well, but can you say that again?
If the representative needs to change from myself to someone else, we are able to do that, correct?
Anytime.
Great. Just making sure based on the date.
Mr. Holmes, you mentioned that you were also here on behalf of the board.
No, ma'am, not on their behalf. I've just joined the protest and added my signature to the letter. But I'm not speaking for the board as I'm not a member of the board.
Okay, thank you. Because the Admiral DuPont Condominium Association also signed on to this protest. Condominium associations don't have standing as protestants. And so I'm dismissing the DuPont Condominium Association. Actually, what the protest letter says, the protest letter refers to DuPont Condominium and a board of the DuPont Condominium. So I'm assuming it's an association. And so I'm dismissing. Mr. Holmes, did you say something?
Just that that's my understanding, but the other participant is Terzi's, but no better than
The other participants, what, Mr. Holmes?
Melissa is with us, I believe. Melissa Terzi's.
You're coming through a little muffled, Mr. Holmes. Can you repeat that one more time?
I think there's a representative of the 1700 17th Street Condo Association, Melissa Terzi's. Is she still with us?
I can also speak on behalf of
Okay.
the board.
And so who's speaking?
This is Melissa Terzis. So I am here. I'm unclear what you're saying when you said there's somebody from the association to be dismissed, because we're all in this as individual owners. So nobody's really representing the association, but some of the owners on the hearing are also on the board.
And so you've all been granted standing as a group. You've all been granted standing as a group. Everyone that signed the protest letter,
okay,
has been granted standing. It is the condominium association itself that's not granted standing, but the individuals that signed the protest letter are granted standing.
Okay, as long as we meet the minimum threshold that we needed.
You met the minimum threshold because let's see, there were at least 5 of you present today. It's only the association that I'm dismissing, not the group of protestants. Any questions about that, Ms. Turius?
I think that's fine, correct.
Thank you. And so we have, as a protestant group, in this case, a group of 17. Ms. Maza, I will request a Spanish language interpreter for Ms. Mendoza going forward.
Thank you.
Going forward, Ms. Maza, do you want us to send you the WebEx invitation to attend the hearings the same as I did for today?
Yes, same email, yes.
Excuse me, Ms. Fletcher. This is Commissioner Slatt, Vincent, Vincent, Slatt,
Yes.
Slatt. I had a question about the standing of the group of 17. We had been informed that because they are residents of the same building, that the license is being transferred, that they're not eligible for standing in this case. I wondered if you could explain that.
Yeah, and so can you explain what that reason would be again?
There was some discrepancy about the definition of an abutting property, because these are people that live within the same building as the requested license. And in a previous hearing, the protest was dismissed because they're not an abutting property.
That would have been because the protestants would have claimed to be abutting. No one claimed to be abutting in this case. This was just a group of people. If they had claimed to be abutting, then I would have had to check the DC Geographic Information System for each address and determine whether or not their property is abutted. In this case, no one claimed to be an abutting property owner, Mr. Slatt. They just filed as a group.
Okay. And therefore they have standing as a group.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. Would you please allow me a moment to explain that to Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Yes. Ok, Marta, lo que está pasando ahorita es que como 17 personas han escrito en protestar a este asunto, anteriormente ellos estaban como residentes del mismo edificio y por eso no podrían protestar. Pero en esta vez no están diciendo sobre la dirección, solamente de la cantidad de la gente. Lo siento, pero así estamos. Thank you.
Commissioner Slatt, can I get your first name?
My first name is Vincent, Vincent.
Okay, so I've noted, Commissioner Slatt, that you're here today. We're here today to interpret for Ms. Mendoza.
Yes.
And because you're from ANC 2B, I'll just note that ANC 2B didn't file a protest, and that was the reason you were here, to assist Ms. Mendoza.
Yes, ma'am. This case came before the commission on 2 separate occasions. In November of 2022, my predecessor, Commissioner Robin Nunn, NUNN, she presented this case in support at the ANC. She's a resident of this same building, 1700 17th Street, and she had done outreach and communication with certain Protestants, with residents of the building. And when that came up before the commission, she endorsed the transfer of this license and said that the protests were not adequate to meet that threshold. And therefore, the commission voted to support the transfer of the license and to take no action as a Protestant in the case. The case further came forward in front of our commission in February of 2023, when I've started in my term. And again, no Protestants showed up at the ANC commission to object to this transfer of license. And the commission again supported the transfer of license and chose not to enter as a Protestant in this case.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm going to give you some dates now. I'm going to give you the dates for a status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for April the 26th at 10:30 a.m. The protest hearing is set for May 24. May 24 at 1:30. And I will give you the next available day for mediation. The next available day for mediation is Wednesday, April 12th. Wednesday, April 12th, anytime between 10 and 1:30. And so is that going to be good for Miss Mendoza?
Yes, that's gonna be good for us.
Thank you. Ms. Cabell, what about you?
We will make it work.
Hmm?
We will make it work. Someone from
Do
the
you-
April 17th.
Do you have a preference for time? It can be anywhere between 10 and 1:30.
No preference. Let's just say 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Is it okay for you, Miss Mendoza?
Yes, 10 a.m. is okay for us.
Mediation is set for Wednesday, April 11, I'm sorry, April 11 at 10 o'clock a.m. The purpose of the mediation is to attempt to resolve the protest issues as an alternative to going through the protest hearing process. If you're able to resolve the matter in mediation, then the protest hearing would be canceled. I don't know if anyone had any questions about the purpose of the mediation, so I just thought I'd offer a brief explanation. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I just have a question about the date. So Wednesday in April is the 12th and Tuesday is the 11th, but you said Wednesday, April 11th?
Yeah, it's the, oh, what did I say? The 12th? I started out saying the 12th, right?
Yeah, and then you changed to the 11th and then back.
Thanks for that. So, I tell you what I did. I said 10 o'clock on the 12th, but then I wrote it down on the 11th, but it is the 12th. It is Wednesday, April 12th at 10 o'clock a.m.
Okay. Thank you for.
You're welcome.
And the mediation is over a month before the protest hearing?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Ms. Cabell?
The mediation is a month before the protest hearing. That is how it proceeds? That's a question.
Well, that's the way this one, it turned out to be. Yeah, because the protest hearing is It's the status hearing, actually. So the status hearing is 4/26, so it's a couple of weeks before that, and yes, the protest hearing is 5/24.
Ms. Fletcher, can we please request a copy of the protest letter or any of the other communications with the Protestants? My understanding is Ms. Mendoza has not, received the information concerning the grounds of the protest, and the protesters have not been in touch with her concerning this matter.
And so, Mr. Slatt, is that you talking, Commissioner
Yes, ma'am.
Slatt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can provide the information. The protest letter was sent along, a copy of the protest letter was sent along with the notice of the hearing to the protestant. But it's okay, we can send another one. It's not a problem.
And would you please send that also to me at my address? It's 2B03 at anc.dc.gov. Again, that's 2B03 at anc.dc.gov.
With the permission of Ms. Mendoza?
Yeah, she agrees.
And I have to thank you, Ms. Fletcher, for your patience with this. I'm newly elected, and so this is the first case I've worked with my neighbors and things. So I appreciate your kindness assisting me with learning this process.
Well, you are more than welcome. Miss Massa?
Yes.
Would you like for me to send another copy of the protest letter to Miss Mendoza?
Yes.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, so we're done unless anybody has any other questions. And I will see you.
May I ask Ms. Carbell, can I have your contact information? I'd love to speak with you directly about this.
And so may I just clarify something for the court reporter? This is Commissioner Slatt asking Ms. Carbell for her contact information.
Yes, I'll put it in the chat. And I also want to state for the record that the protest letter was sent to Carolyn Mazza, who we were told was the representative for Spud. So they received the letter.
Sorry, it's not Carolyn Massa, it's Cindy, Cindy.
Oh, okay. In the letter, it says Carolyn Mazza, but the email does say Cindy. So should send you, it was sent to cindy-m4@hotmail.com from the ABRA board.
Yeah, let me look at that too, since you said you're saying something different than what we have. Let me see what we have here. Let's see.
Ms. Fletcher, it looks like you are also on that.
Yeah, so Ms. Carbell, you're saying that the roll call hearing notice has a different first name for Cindy.
Correct.
And it does. So, but I have Cindy in my record, so it is Cindy Massa, right?
Yes.
CINDA. The protest letter looks like it has, the hearing notice looks like it has Carolyn Massa. I'll get that fixed.
Just one last thing. My mom would like to say something if she can, if it's possible.
She sure can.
Ok, solamente quiero decirle a los que están haciendo protesta que tenga un poquito de compasión, que yo compré el condominio estoy pagando 2 rentas por 3 meses y son $11,000 que estoy pagando. No es justo que me estén haciendo daño, porque yo nunca le he hecho daño a la comunidad.
Can I give the chance to
Commissioner
translate?
Slatt,
This
yes.
is Commissioner Slatt. Ms. Mendoza is grateful for the assistance, but she also asks that the protesters have some compassion for her in this case. She does have both locations and is paying $11,000 per month in rent on the 2 locations. And she's asked that no further harm be done to her in delaying these issues and dragging out the length of her business there. She's been 18 years with no problems in the community. And so that's why she asks for the compassion.
Thank you.
This is Melissa Terzis. Can I say something in response to that? Because I didn't realize that this was turning into a hearing. We just thought it was a roll
No,
call.
just a second, just a second. This is not going to turn into a hearing. Commissioner Slatt was only allowed to speak because he was interpreting. So, but what I will allow is for you to respond to that, and then we're going to be done with that. Go
Well,
ahead.
he's characterized this as though we just showed up to protest, and we've been protesting this all along. And the onus wasn't on us to reach out to somebody who wants to move into the building where we live and where our families are, and we're concerned about safety. The liquor store has been held up at gunpoint several times in the 20 years.
Ms. Turry, now it is turning into a hearing. This is not
Okay, but
evidentiary.
the commissioner has turned this into a hearing by way of what he's saying. He's done a lot of explanation. He's also explained.
Ms. Turry, we're ending that right there. We have to. This is non-evidentiary. Ms. Mendoza required interpretation, and so that happened. You've had an opportunity to respond to some extent, but this should not turn into an evidentiary hearing. And so if there are no other questions, I'm going to conclude the roll call hearing. Any questions at all? Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you in mediation on April the 12th. Thank you. Okay. Bye, everybody.